Welcome back to the Oh How Healthy podcast. I am so excited that you're here and always so grateful that you spend your time with me because I know that you're a busy lady and that you have a lot going on, and I'm always so grateful that you lend me your ear. And so I don't take that for granted. And today I wanted to talk about, in this episode, I share with you what to do, how to bounce back after an indulgent weekend. What are some practical tips that you can do, things that you can fill your fridge with if you didn't get to meal prep or meal plan the way that you would like to, and just ways to bounce back physically and mentally from overindulging. So I hope you enjoyed this podcast episode. If you do, leave a rating and review. They are always so helpful, not only so that I can see what you're enjoying from these episodes, but also so that other people who are searching for information just like this can find it easier. And you can find me on Instagram and Facebook. I have a private Facebook group. All of those details are in the show notes. And additionally, I mentioned a free download that you can get at the end of this podcast, and that is also available in the show notes. So I hope you enjoy. Hey everyone, how is everyone? Happy Wednesday. Wednesday is usually when I hop on here and I like to share a video with you guys. And as I record this video, I actually record our podcast. If you are watching this on replay, and you don't have time to watch a video, just click on over to the Oh How Healthy podcast and you can listen to this on audio because, my work is designed for the busy woman who does not have the time. So if you don't have the time to meal prep or plan some healthy foods or even get to the gym, I know you don't have time to listen to this video. So that's why I have the podcast and, listen on the go. So anyway, I wanted to talk to you today about, as you've seen the title, I want to talk about what to do after an indulgent weekend, after an indulgent week, after just feeling like you've messed up, quote unquote, messed up. And I wanted to talk about this because, I want to talk about this because I did have an indulgent weekend, and it wasn't that it wasn't planned. It was actually my birthday weekend, and I went out a few different times. We went out for drinks, we got brunch, I went out with friends. It was just like activity after activity. Family came over with pizza and soda and cake, and it was just like, okay, and so what happens what to do when that happens, and also how to how to get back on track. Because it's funny, I was actually doing a presentation just recently, and we get so overconsumed and so worried about all of, the next best diet, and maybe it's keto, or maybe it's Weight Watchers, or maybe it's like this other diet. But really, what the key is consistency with one program. And I made this joke when I was doing this presentation, like, wouldn't it be funny if I was just like, I didn't get to meal prep, I had a shitty weekend, and I ate too much, and I'm done. Like, I quit, I give up, the whole business is going to go to crap, and I quit on helping anyone else meal prep. Like, it would be ridiculous. But honestly, this is what we do to ourselves. There's so many people, so many women that I talk to who, and this used to be me too, who I was doing good, or I wasn't doing good, or I'm on a diet, or I'm not on a diet, or I'm allowed to have a cake, or I'm not allowed to have a cake. It's like, hey, how about if we just live our life and stop obsessing about, whether we dictate our activities based on a diet or not on a diet? How about if we just live our lives and stay consistent and stay on track? So that is, what it's all about. It's about, yes, making some smart choices, and yes, making healthy choices. But honestly, it's just about staying consistent. Time and time again, you just have to just keep moving forward. And this is a tactic that you can use in your diet, in your workouts, in your work routine. We either get into a routine with our gym and we go to the gym and we're a gym person, or we're not a gym person. And what I find that, like I just said about whether we're on a diet or not on a diet, but the thing is that the diets are so strict. The workout routine is so strict. These things have to be so rigid, and it makes you not want to do it. Like, who really wants to eat salad every single day of the week for 2 meals a day and a shake and, who really wants to just have like chopped veggies and salads? And I tell this to kids, and when I do these cooking classes with kids, I'm like, why do we want to eat these healthy foods? And they say, it's good for me and all this stuff. But why do we want to eat the unhealthy foods? Well, because it tastes delicious. So how can we bridge both of those worlds together? So it does not, I preach the anti-diet philosophy. This is not a diet. This really is a long-term healthy lifestyle change. And with that, it has to be, doable, simple, and practical enough so that you want to do it long term. The meal planning, the recipes, the shopping, like it all has to fit into our life so that, again, we're not spending so much time in the kitchen. We're not eating just rabbit food. We're not spending hundreds of dollars a week at the grocery store, because it is not sustainable, and those things will make you want to quit, when really it's about just finding that balance and striking that balance. So that is that is what is going to cause consistency to really stick and become a habit, and that's really what it's all about. It's not about saying, and how many of us do this? We had a bad weekend, we messed up, quote unquote, messed up, so what's the point of trying again tomorrow? Well, that's the only thing that matters, is trying again tomorrow and finding a different thing that's going to work for you. If that strict diet is not working for you, then let's find that practical solution that is working for you. And we're also different, and we're also unique. And just because like keto is working for one person, or Weight Watchers is working for one person, doesn't mean it's going to work for you too. And that's really what is going to have it not be a yo-yo diet and have it be long term. And that's really why I do month after month of my healthy eating challenges, because we really have to reinforce those healthy habits so that we're not just doing it for 30 days or 6 weeks or 7 days and then what? It has to be consistent daily effort. So what I would say, I'm going to give you some ideas. If you have this indulgent weekend or it is an indulgent week and you don't have the time because this happens to all of us, right? It actually happened to me this weekend where I just did not get to meal prepping. And that's just the way it is. Like every single week, my meals are not prepped perfectly and everything is like perfect. No. So what to do when that happens? And I have a free download for you. You'll be able to click the link below, and anyone who's tuning into the podcast, there'll be a link in the show notes where you can swipe my exact grocery list. And this grocery list is something that are my go-to ingredients, and go-to foods that I'll buy week after week. And yes, ideally you want to prep some things, but guess what? If things happen, then you just can't get around to it. So I have some ideas that I'm going to share with you after I go through some tips here as to what to do within your own mindset, because providing those tips and tools, what to buy from the grocery store, are very like tangible things that it's almost like the Band-Aid solution. But we have to start to rewire our brain and start to tell ourselves that it is okay that I had cake this weekend. It is okay that I had pizza this weekend. It is okay that I went to that diner and ate what I felt like eating because I was craving it, and ate the whole thing. So I really want to give you some of those mindset tools that are going to help you, because again, this is a lot of, mindset work that we need to work through, because it's one thing to just say, okay, I'm going to eat, the food from the diner but not feel guilty about it, and try not to feel guilty about it. So I have 3 things that I want to say first. One is to just be nice to yourself. Be nice to yourself. You have to start loving yourself and appreciating yourself and accepting yourself for who and what you are right now. Otherwise, when you get to the desired result, your desired body, the look that your body, you want it to look like, your desired weight, it will not matter unless you start to love yourself right now. So it does not matter if you are a size 2 or a size 22. you have to start to appreciate yourself now, because again, once you get to that goal weight, it will be difficult to start to love yourself then. And you might have seen this, or you might have experienced this before, when you set out to achieve a goal and then you get there and you're like, it's not enough. Like, I want to lose even more weight. I want to look even better. And guess what? When you get there, it still won't be enough unless you start to appreciate who you are and what you are right now. Because guess what? Look back at photos of yourself when you were your most adorable, cute little self, and what were you thinking? Because we can remember what we're thinking when we take a photo. And what were you thinking about yourself at that high school graduation, or that, your prom photo? You were thinking, oh my goodness, like, most likely, or hopefully you thought that you were the bomb, but the majority of us, like, we're wired this way to be like, I'm not good enough, I don't look good enough, they look much better than me. So if you look back at yourself, you probably will think, I didn't look and feel the way I wanted to. But when you're looking back, of course, you think differently now. And guess what? In the future, you're going to look back at yourself right now and be like, oh my goodness, I was so cute. I was so adorable. I really wish I would have loved and appreciated myself the way that I looked then. And so this is a process. This does not take overnight. I still battle with this, because I came from a very unhealthy place with my eating habits, with my body. I would wake up in the morning and dictate whether my day was going to be good or bad depending on how skinny or fat I felt that day, because of what I ate the day before. I would think, and like that, those were the thoughts that initially went through my head in the morning, and that's not okay. So that brings me to point 2 is choose your thoughts wisely. Choose loving thoughts. And this may sound super weird and off the wall, and you're like, listen, Jamie, I'm just here for some practical tips, like, so that I can start to, work off the extra calories that I ate. And no. Because you got to start telling yourself those loving thoughts. You got to, when you wake up, you tell yourself you're enough. Focus on what you're grateful for about your body. I mean, your body does so much for you. And when you think of people who would kill for what you have, you really just have to appreciate that and love that, and show yourself some love and tell yourself some loving things. Thirdly, I would say don't weigh yourself. I don't really love to weigh myself. I don't recommend weighing yourself. I don't recommend it, because it becomes like it's part of that, like, mindset work. Like, what does the number on the scale really mean to you? Like, do you wear it on your shirt and say, look at me today, like, I'm 150 pounds? Like, who cares? Because honestly, it's messed with me too much that I just don't weigh myself anymore, and I feel so more liberated. Can anyone agree with me? Does anyone agree with this? And I've heard from people before. I've talked to women before who would say, it's really weird, Jamie. I was weighing myself like every day after I would get done a run, after I would eat really well, and then I went away on vacation and I couldn't weigh myself, and I ate like crap, and then I came home and I weighed less. Now, how does that happen? When we think about it, it shouldn't have really happened that way, but you got to stop stressing and obsessing over that number, because it messes with your mind, and your mind is so much more powerful than you think. So try not to weigh yourself, especially after an indulgent weekend, right? Like, come on. If you do weigh yourself, don't do it right after an indulgent weekend. What are you asking to be miserable the next day? Like, please don't do that. And please don't feel like you need to overexhaust yourself and work out extensively over the next day or so. Like, it's not healthy to work out excessively like that. And you want to, yes, move your body more, drink maybe some more water, drink some lemon water, get your body removing some of those toxins, but you don't want to overexert yourself and overextend yourself, because, the reason why I say I don't believe in diets is because at the essence of it, at the core of it, is not a form of self-love or self-respect. And that's what I'm all about. Because when we're, I'm not talking about a weekend where we're just eating whatever we want. I'm talking about living a lifestyle where we eat whatever we want in an unhealthy way, even though we know we shouldn't be doing it. That is not a form of self-love or self-respect. But when we feed ourselves, good food and we take care of ourselves, that's a form of self-respect. But also dieting and restricting is also not a form of self-love or self-respect. So yeah, you don't want to overexert yourself. You don't want to weigh yourself. You don't want to be obsessive about this. You don't want to tell yourself, oh, I messed up. I did bad. I'm a bad person because I messed up. You want to just give yourself some grace. Understand that maybe it was intentional or maybe it wasn't intentional. That you had this indulgent weekend, but either way, you just want to move forward in a healthy way. So I would recommend, waking up, drinking more water that day, maybe taking the steps instead of the elevator that day, maybe going for a walk, taking your dog out for a walk if you have a dog, go for a walk in general. In addition to that, you might want to just wear some loose-fitting clothing, right? Because maybe you're feeling bloated and you have a bit of you're just not feeling great, right? That's what happens when we don't eat food that's really nutrient-dense and healthy for us. We just don't feel great and might feel a little bit bloated due to some extra sodium and sugar. So it's you got to just shake it off. So we want to not only work on our mindset, but also just make ourselves feel a bit better. We don't want to sit there and obsess and weigh ourselves, but we just wear some loose clothing and shake it off. Because could you imagine a friend or a family member coming up to you and saying to you, I really overdid it this weekend and I really don't feel great and I really feel bad about myself and I really messed up on my diet? What would you say to them? So we have to start treating ourselves like we would a friend, a good friend or a family member. And so that same advice that you would give to them is kind advice, right? It's kind of like this advice that I'm giving to you. It's not, wow, nothing but, grilled chicken and lettuce for you, and you better hit the gym at least twice, and you probably should tell yourself that you mess up because you definitely did, and you should weigh yourself and feel bad about it. No, you would say the exact opposite, right? I'm trying to tell you, and these are the things that I had to tell myself as I had to teach and coach myself out of these horrible, situations that would really just dictate and take over the rest of my day and the rest of my week. And the bottom line and the fact of the matter is, let's say that friend or a coworker did come up to you and say, I really overdid it this weekend and I really feel bad about it. Do they even really look fatter to you? No. And that might sound so stupid, right? Do they really look fatter to you? No, but that's what we think in our head. We're oh my goodness, I feel like a cow. Everyone must think that I look like a cow. No one thinks that about you. You're stunning just the way you are and you look amazing. And the best thing to do is just shake it off and stay consistent and get back on track, which is probably the hardest thing that we can do, but it's the only thing that's ever going to matter. It's the only thing. It's just staying consistent and getting your head right. And, also, if that indulgent weekend was not an intentional indulging, really try to analyze it and figure out, well, what was it? Did I have too many drinks at the bar? Did I say I wasn't going to have the dessert and then I had the dessert? Did I eat too much of my meal? What are these things that are going on? Maybe something triggered you and made you want to go to the pantry and have, a bag of chips. Maybe something made you want to do it. This is getting into a different topic here, and that is really getting to the root of the situation and the root of the problem, right? Because if it wasn't planned and you weren't I'm just going to enjoy myself, it's my birthday weekend, and these things are happening, without you intentionally doing it, then you just really want to start by journaling and analyzing the situation and figuring out what is going on. And you'd be really surprised as to what can come up if you journal about it, and you'll notice that it might be similar things that are happening and occurring in your day-to-day that is triggering and setting you off. And that may sound silly, but for example, when I was healing from my eating disorder years and years and years ago, I would notice that I got set off. I got triggered by, me entering the house and noticing that there was piles of shoes everywhere, clothes thrown over the banister. That was a trigger for me. And without me stepping back and looking at the situation from a bird's eye view, I would have never noticed that. Instead, I would just come home, I would throw myself down, feel frustrated, maybe say something smart to someone, and then head right to the pantry. That was like my sequence of events. So I started to like analyze the situation and think like, okay, I was okay on my drive home. I got home and then I noticed I kind of got upset. So it's through experiences like that you can get to the root of an issue if you're eating indulgently without it being intentional, right? So anyway, like I said in the beginning of this video, you can download my exact grocery list that will help you on weeks where you did not get to meal prep, because like I said, this week I called myself out on it many times because I'm not perfect and I do not do things perfectly, but my secret power is that I stay consistent. And it could be anyone's secret superpower, but sometimes if you need the support and the accountability in order to do it, then you need to reach out and ask for that support and accountability. So on the weeks that I don't get to meal prep, I will make sure I have certain foods on hand. And, things like eggs. Eggs, you can just throw eggs together. You can even, I have a recipe demo where I can put eggs in the microwave, like not the whole egg, but you can whip it up, put it in a little glass container, put some greens in it, and you can microwave it and put it on some flatbread and make a sandwich with it. I'll always have oats on hand for like overnight oats, and not those prepackaged oats either. You'll notice that I don't mention any prepackaged foods here. I like to promote whole foods, whole-based foods, because those are going to be the most nutrient dense for your body and honestly most affordable. So things like sweet potatoes, you can always just pop a sweet potato in the microwave and press the potato button and it will cook. I'll usually have avocados to have with my eggs, mixed greens, and the avocados I'll have with my salad, chopped veggies. And I even recommend pick up a veggie tray, right? If you're going to the grocery store and you don't have the time to chop up your veggies, just grab one of those veggie trays so you have it sitting there in the refrigerator and you can grab out what you need when you want to. So you can grab some chopped celery, because if it's chopped and prepared, hey, and you're going to eat it, it's worth the $12, $15 that you're going to spend overspend on the groceries at the grocery store for it. So I'll have things like fruit, bananas and blueberries and strawberries on hand. And I'll usually buy protein powder and almond milk so I can make a smoothie whenever I want. Boxes of black bean pasta to throw together with some pesto sauce or some tomato sauce. Chicken, frozen veggies, frozen shrimp so I can just defrost that and throw together a dinner. Ground turkey so I can just saute up something and maybe make lettuce wraps or put it with a salad even. Or sometimes I'll just eat like avocado and a sweet potato and ground turkey, like for a meal. Things like yogurt or smoked salmon even. I like smoked salmon and it's a good source of protein. So yeah, I don't really buy too many granola bars or prepackaged foods. I like to shop for fresh, whole-based food. So anyway, if you want that, my exact grocery list that I would buy for days that I just didn't get the meal prep, then you can download that below. But anyway, I hope that this was helpful. I really just wanted to call myself out on the fact that I ate plenty of food. I'll actually see if I can share a photo below of what we ate. My husband and I went to the Hash House one day, and they have meals and portions there that are like so big, and we made a really good dent in our food, and I was like okay about it. Our family came over. I had pizza and wings, and there was soda, and everyone left all their leftovers, beer and soda and wine. But you want to get that out of the house after the weekend because otherwise you eat it. Cake and chocolates. Send it home with friends. Send it home with families. Take it to work. Give it to some of your coworkers. But when it comes down to it, we're all human and we all have birthdays and we all indulge. But it's really just how we react to that situation. What are some things that we tell ourselves? What do we do after that? Is it a vicious cycle of indulging, restricting, because those are not forms of self-love or self-respect? Do we beat ourselves up at the gym because we feel like we did bad? we really just want to manage those thoughts and those actions and those behaviors. And also just, if it's not an intentional overindulging, journal about that situation. See if you have triggers that are setting you off and causing you to want to overeat. And yeah, so this is a process, guys. I'm here on the journey with you, and I'm here if you have any questions. So I'll talk to everyone soon. So I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, please share with a friend who you feel could benefit from this information. Tag me on Facebook, tag me on Instagram, leave a rating or review so that I can learn what you're enjoying, how I can create more of that content for you, and how I can create this podcast based on you and your needs, because you are who I create this for. So thanks for listening, and I'll catch you next week.